What is up, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Camera Junkie live stream. My name's Lewis, also known as Mr. Camera Junkie, where I remind you to upgrade your skills before your gear. And right off the bat, Merry Christmas, as we are celebrating the Christmas Eve live stream here in the misty Christmas. And if it's your first time here, welcome. Please introduce yourself in the chat so you can get the nice, warm Camera Junkie crew welcome, and so that I could also know who's watching and that I can give you a shout out here on the stream. And as tradition goes, first thing that we do is check out who's in the chat. And right off the bat, we have Grandma, Gangsta Grandma. Where's my mouse? There we are. Saying hi, MCJ crew, Merry Christmas Eve, and she nailed it, right? Christmas Eve. Couple of days away from the big day, so I do hope that you've taken care of all of your holiday shopping, and today is just a relaxing hangout stream here as we do every Saturday night, because this is actually episode 160. You heard correct. 160, but the big thing is that's 160 consecutive weeks of the Camera Junkie live stream, because we do it every single week. Been doing it for over 3 years, which is like over 3 years every Saturday without missing a beat. So as always, thank you for hanging out here with me and making this the place where I want to be week in and week out. We also have Parker Jennings saying hello to everyone. How are you doing, sir? Thank you as always for hanging out. Gangsta Grandma here, wishing everyone a happy holidays. I love the way you wrote that. Gretchen, on another hand, I hope you got my message, because I was very, very touched and moved by your gesture. Gangsta Grandma actually sent Aiden and I a small little gift, and it came in these amazing little Amazon packages right there. The reason why I highlight it is because I had never received a gift in the Amazon like style before, so it was new to me to actually see a package that I wasn't waiting for, so to speak, under my name, and then to find out that it's just a little a little trinket of love from Gangsta Grandma to Aiden and myself, and I cannot thank you enough. That meant so much to me, especially that you are his his adopted grandmother. So I couldn't ask for a better Gangsta Grandma in the world. Jeremy is also here. Okay, sorry for that interruption. I got a weird text message. FYI, these are some new like kind of scams that are going around. So if you get a random text message from someone saying like, hey, all you have to do is this, or like check a bank account, like, I hope my crew here is smarter than that to know that that is a scam. So it's just a little off-putting when even right now, like right before the holidays, somebody at this time of night too is getting that type of message. But I digress. Mr. Jeremy Rainy Cajun is in the house saying Merry Christmas all. Lewis, you are our dinner time entertainment. Say hi to the Cajun fam. Well, happy holidays, Merry Christmas, and hi to the entire family. I'm honored to be the Christmas time entertainment. Or the dinner time entertainment, yes. Kevin is also here in the house saying hello to all. All right, what's up, Kevin? Thank you for stopping by. Actually, I should have some things here to keep me informed. And just to give you guys also a heads up, as you can see, I've done a bit of decorating, right? I added some twinkly lights because that's kind of today's theme, right? I called it the Christmas mist, right? And it's because last week I actually got my hands on a Pro Mist filter, and we're looking at it right now. So let me know what you think as far as the image. I wanted to add some twinkly lights to kind of emphasize on the bokeh, right? That we can get from, you know, good lenses and things like that, but also the mystification, so to speak, or the haze that we'd be getting with that type of filter. Because, you know, between you and me, I kind of don't see that big of a difference, but I'm gonna leave it out to you guys to see if you do see a difference. Right now, something to give as far as the reference points, I'm gonna move to my secondary camera here, and this is with no, obviously no pro mist filter, but this is the same type of lens, just a different focal length. So this is the Sigma 30 millimeter f1.4, and this is my Sigma 16 millimeter f1.4, but this one has a new, very inexpensive pro mist filter because I did not want to spend a lot of money on it to see if it was actually something that was more viable. Now, I could be mistaken that a higher priced mist filter, or maybe a stronger like variation of it. Yeah, Jeremy is asking that question right here, saying, is that a quarter or an eighth? It's an eighth pro mist filter, right? I got an 1/8 of kind of intensity, so to speak, to not make it too much, because I've seen that the quarters usually darken out a lot more, and everyone was saying that just the 1/8 was good enough. So I went on the you know, Jungle website and hit up Amazon, and I'm going into my orders so that I can exactly tell you which brand I got. Oh, it's should have the box here. So many different brands. It wasn't Tiffin. Oh, KF Concepts. And it was very very inexpensive. I think it was like $20. So because it was $20 is why I actually pulled the trigger on it. I was like, $20, honestly, I could spend $20 on a salad at Cheesecake Factory, right? Like, easily. So I was thinking, I was like, let me see if this is going to do anything. And $21 they go for, and they actually did come with something which, you know what, let's go do it live. It came with 3 of these little microfiber cloths. Now, you see how thin that is? That is like super thin, and it's supposed to be a microfiber. So I got 3 of these included in the package, KF Concepts. And I was wondering, like, you know, this is almost like freeze dried, right? Like microfiber cloth jerky, so to speak. But you know what, let's do it together. Let me see if I have my overhead shot. There we go. And let's go ahead and rip this guy open. All right, now that we have released it to the elements, extremely thin. And I guess as a microfiber, I was expecting something totally different. I was expecting kind of like what I'm used to as a microfiber, which is this. So I was thinking that this was like flattened out to a point where, like, as soon as air would get into it, it would kind of like puff up. But no, this is just extremely thin. I would say this is more for, like, I don't know, like eyewear, like glasses. I buy a bunch of these big microfiber cloths for everything, but I buy them in bulk, pretty cheap, just so that I could kind of like get them all jacked up and then dirty and throw them away, because certain ones you cannot wash after you utilize them. But okay, interesting little cloth, especially for, you know, the small little filters that we're dealing with. I got a 67 millimeter. I was thinking about getting the 82, but at that point I was really thinking, am I gonna utilize it that way? You know, is it something that I'm gonna use all the time for all my lenses? And if so, I might pick up another one in that size. But I didn't want to add a step up ring to it, or a step down ring, you know, to take it from 82 to a 67 millimeter for my lens. Because if we go to, actually, you know what, Let me do this real quick because it keeps messing me up. I'm going to configure my Stream Deck real quick and fix my button. The edit screen. C. Perfect. Boom. Thank you for your patience. Now that we're here, we should be able to hit that button. Perfect. Now that we're here, right, I just wanted to emphasize that I didn't want to add another step up ring because I have this set up here with the teleprompter. So because I have everything here and I'm trying to control, looking at audio levels, checking comments and everything as far as production on a much smaller screen, I also didn't want to put extra weight onto a step up ring and have an 82mm Pro Mist. But I digress. I want to hear what you guys think, right? Can you see a significant difference in a shot like this to, I guess, the sharpness and what you're seeing as an overall image with this Sigma lens comparative to this one? And do you think that you actually see more of a hazy type mist? Because I am going to temporarily take this off, you know, the teleprompter, and then unscrew it to see if you actually see a difference. So I'm going to go back to the chat to see exactly what's going on here. And if I always forget to do this, please be sure to hit the like button. It goes a long way. And I always forget to mention it. Kevin says, maybe the slight out of focus and lack of a better way to describe it, maybe. Okay, so Gretchen says, I have that KF Concepts Black Mist on my main camera. And do you have it with the same like variation, the 1/8 or the quarter? Kevin says, I grabbed a set of those just to throw them, just to throw the UV on the front of another lens and yet to try the Pro Mist. Okay. Jeremy says, looks like a Magnum wrapper. You're talking about the KO concept. All right, Jeremy. That's what's up. But that got me to laugh. All right. Because I wasn't even thinking that way. I digress. Let's go back to it. But okay, then you know what? Let me go ahead and just mess around. All right. And we've taken said teleprompter off. And now I am unscrewing Mr. Mist. Did I do it? No, I didn't. It's still on there. This is Pro Mist. Actually, you know what? Let's go to this one so that you're not seeing my big hand. Oh, that guy's on there. That guy is on there. All right. We're going to be doing emergency setup. All right. That's a tip that I'll share with you guys. Because if any of you are using step up rings, filters, or anything of that sort, right? Tip number one, right? Tip number one, hands down, is that if you're ever going to take your lens off, I highly recommend that you shut down your camera before you disconnect your lens. Now, the cameras are sophisticated enough to not ruin lenses like when we were first dealing with digital cameras, right? And not ruin them if the connections were kind of to cross temporarily, because as soon as they lose connection, they kind of shut down all power so that they're not at risk of damaging when the camera's still on and you're exchanging lenses. But it doesn't hurt your camera to turn it off, take the lens off, and then turn it back on if the camera is new enough that it doesn't take forever to kind of reboot. The reason why is because the sensor is electromagnetic, right? So the sensor is pulling in the photosites, is pulling in light once it gets electrified. But just like the old CRT monitors that we used to have, the old tube TVs, right? that they would create a lot of static and attract dust to them, right? That's why you would constantly have to clean those types of televisions comparative to LCDs, is because of that electromagnetic cling. And the sensors, when they're on and electrified, have that active. So if you happen to be changing lenses when the camera's on, you're at a much higher risk of having any free piece of like dust actually attach itself to the lens, because it's bringing in that static energy while it's charged and active. So that's why I would recommend to always turn off your camera whenever you're going to remove a lens or change an interchangeable lens on a camera. All right, so I was able to take that off, and right now I can't see your comments, so I'm gonna go back to this one, do a couple of, and from what I'm seeing here, right, from what I'm looking at, I'm kind of looking at my forehead, right, and a bit shiny, okay, but I'm looking at kind of like the level of detail. And when I switch back to this one, I'm kind of seeing the same type of like quality in the detail in the 4K, right? So as I add this mist filter to it, and I'm just gonna place it on there lightly, you tell me if you see a difference in that forehead. It could be that my viewing monitor is not the same as the way you're seeing it. So I'm highly appreciative of your, comments. But at the same time, I'm going to do my best to try to hang this so that I can use it. All right. So once again, this is on, off. I guess also look at the lights in the background and stuff like that. I'm kind of happy that I'm not seeing any color shifting, which would really suck, right? That's not something that's desired when you're adding a filter of any kind. But you let me know. Like I said, this is a $20 Pro Mist filter, and hopefully it does something positive, right? Even if it's a what do you say, like a je ne sais quoi, like it gives it a certain something that I can't explain, right? If that's exactly what's happening, then more power to me, because I literally just spent 20 bucks on it. Like I said, what you could spend on a salad, on a meal, on a lens, and hopefully it does it justice. All right, right where we left off, we have my favorite tech hanging out here. Say hola, how are you doing tonight? Enjoy riding around to Chick-fil-A with the fam. Oh, that's so cool, man. Chick-fil-A sounds great right now. Sammy's also in the house saying hello to everyone. Gretchen's laughing at Jeremy. It says subtle, big time, hard to see with YouTube compression. Well, I'm going to, take it to the next level, and I'm going to do pixel peeping, right? I'm going to record, not like as far as a stream or YouTube compression, but I'm going to record to the camera. I'm probably going to try it in RAW. Why not, right? Or go log, so to speak, and log footage, and see if there's an actual difference that I can see even in post-production, right? Because I think it's supposed to create more halation, right? Like more of a mystification. And I actually think I see it, but it could just be bokeh, right? So you know what? I'm going to move out of the way so that I'm going to pay attention to the lights that I just hung up there. Nah, that was just straight bokeh. But it could be that it's more halation in the bokeh, but I'm gonna put it to the test, because once I move out and it focuses there, that you can see like reflections and little extra twinkles of the lights, which I like. I've had those lights since, man, I've had those lights for like 3 years. So don't be surprised if they get, they hang out here in the set for a while, just because I don't feel like taking them back down. And that is facts. But one thing that I was able to do this week was actually, like I had mentioned, finish up my Christmas shopping. And I just want to thank everyone here, right? Thank the entire community, because you are part of everything that makes this machine go. And I'm very grateful that I'm able to basically pay my bills with content creation, right? I'm able to do something that I love and have fun while I do it, and work with amazing people. And the reason why I bring this up is just because I want to show my gratitude to the crew that I am working with, the crew from Ecamm. And if you're wondering, how is he, have such an amazing production and setup and all this, it's all because of Ecamm. Multiple cameras around, right, that have me doing pretty much everything here. It's all because of the power of Ecamm, and I'm very fortunate to be working with them. If you're interested, link in the description, and use code Mr. Camera Junkie, one word all together, to get 15% off. There you go. But the reason why I'm bringing this up is because I received a gift from them as well that just kind of blew me away, right? And it's something that I kind of have done for other people, and I really never even emphasized or noticed myself while I was doing it, the impact that it could have on someone. And the what I'm talking about is basically my new favorite shirt, the shirt that I'm wearing right now. And I'm gonna back up so that you can see it. I freaking love it. For those of you who couldn't see it, it says, "I'm a ham and manchego man." And this is from Ecamm and the Ecamm crew. They actually created a design, made a shirt, and sent it out to me, and I absolutely love it, because it's part of the story of mine with them, right? There's a nice little breakfast / lunch shop across the street from the Ecamm headquarters called Bakehouse. And from my first visit to the Ecamm HQ, I fell in love with this ham and manchego sandwich that they make there. And it's been like a couple of years consecutive now that I've been going up there and making sure that I get my hands on this sandwich. When I was up there for like a month, I ate that sandwich more than I like to admit, but it was good and very convenient. And for that reason, the story is that I'm the ham and manchego man, and they were able to put that as a thought, and into care, and then create a design around it and send it to me. And you probably see me get a little like misty right now, because I never would have thought, right? I never would have thought that I'd be in the position that I'm in right now, and I'm very grateful. And this is like a trophy of, hard work, but also an amazing relationship that I have with the Ecamm crew. So for anyone out there who's listening, thank you so very much. I am truly blessed and very grateful for everything that has happened so far, and I'm excited for everything in the future. I absolutely love this shirt because it means a lot for the entirety of the experience. Has been basically 2 years that I've been working with Ecamm, as their editor and podcast producer, and I just I have fun all the time, and I'm very fortunate that I'm making money doing so. So I'm looking forward to 2024. There's a lot of things that I have planned to start, you know, to actually take this off in the right direction. And I want once again to thank Ecamm, to thank you who's watching right now, who's taking the time, for all of my Mr. Camera Junkie members on Fourth Wall, Gretchen. We actually had a new one. Michael H was the latest member to the crew, and if you're interested in supporting me as a creator and a father, all the links are down in the description as well for those who might be watching. So once again, thank you. I'm extremely grateful, and I just want to reciprocate that in every way, shape, or form that I can. All right, Andy VZ. Speaking in Spanish, says, Hola, acabo de comprar el Sony ZV-1F en Venezuela. En parte gracias de tus reviews. All right, well, I'm going to translate. He basically says, hi. I just finished buying the Sony ZV-1F in Venezuela, in part thanks to your reviews. De nada, y agradezco que el video te ayudó. And I just replied, you're welcome, and I'm glad that you found my video useful. Going bilingual, and that's something else that I'm going to be, that's other projects. It's kind of has to do with what I just mentioned, Ecamm being such an amazing program, but I also have the ability to speak Spanish, and there's a whole entire demographic that I'm going to try to cater to. So to kind of build up on my Ecamm affiliate game, I am going to be attempting to make videos. Oh, let me correct myself. I'm not going to be attempting. I'm going to be making videos around Ecamm, but in Spanish. And it's going to be completely separate, so it's not really going to be linked. But I do hope that that's something that kind of takes off and then starts kind of just building upon itself in the kind of in the same realm as what Mr. Salisbury, Adrian Salisbury, was able to do with the Ecamm Academy, which is just basically lessons, very easy, and it's built an entire like lesson plans and things like that. So I'm going to be following in his footsteps, but in Spanish, to see if I can build something of the same type that can kind of continue to generate funds by itself as well, in retrospect, so to speak, and just keep the ball rolling to allow me to continue to create and once again be the best father that I can to Aiden, because that's my number one goal at the end of the day. So excuse me. All right, now question for you guys. Are you expecting, or better said, I'm a person that I kind of like, I kind of try to get myself the best Christmas present, right? And kind of take care of myself. And I don't really do a lot on birthdays and things like that, but usually this time I try to splurge a little on something, for myself that can necessarily not be useful, right? I always try to, always make something out of nothing, so to speak, but sometimes you just want things for fun. And my Christmas present to me is basically going to be the Vision Pro. Like, one way or another, I know I'm going to be very productive with it, but my Christmas present is going to be getting to me at the end of January. I'm really excited. Actually, that's something I mentioned before. The rumors are that it's going to be at the end of January, which, if Vision Pro comes out like literally like in less than 60 days, basically in like 30 days, if it comes out anything like that, like, it's just off the walls. I'm super excited. That's something that I'm laser focused on, so to speak. I also have the I keep getting it wrong, but it's Podfest at the end of January as well, which I'm really looking forward to. Just a lot of things coming up on the horizon, and I'm really excited. But I would love to know what you guys are excited for, whether it's a Christmas gift or if it's what you're looking forward to in the next year. I would love to hear your thoughts in the chat to see what you guys are thinking, what's on your mind, because as of right now, I'm basically hanging out. The only thing that I've been doing this week is actual physical work. I've been doing a lot of my car repairs that I've needed to get done. And a skill that I'm also working on and trying to build up is a new skill is painting. So I'm dabbling for the first time in automotive painting, and I'm not obviously don't have a car booth or anything like that, but there's a lot of advancements in DIY car painting. So that's another thing that I'm doing. And currently I have the hood of my car outside of that door completely sanded down and ready for primer paint. And at the same time, I have a plastic cover covering my hood, so just in case that it rains, none of the electronics and things like that are underneath. More importantly, the ECU or the brain box of my car is kind of protected from the elements. But I really started digging in there. You know what, I'm gonna give you guys a sneak peek, so to speak. Let me go ahead and grab I forgot to speak, sorry. Grab a lightning cable so that I can connect this phone and see if maybe I could just display some of the things so you can see. I basically had my phone completely disassembled. My phone, listen to me, not my phone, my car completely disassembled. And I have fun with it. Like the deeper I get into it, the more that I take apart, I'm like, oh man, I almost feel like I want to take everything apart and go OCD and clean it. It sounds crazy, but I almost feel, because I'm there, I'm like just steps away of just like dropping the motor and like degreasing the entire thing. But baby steps. Here, let me see what I can do here on the fly. Okay, I was able to eject that. So now that that's ejected, I'm gonna connect this, and I should be able to connect this phone and see it as a new device. Let's see how I'm gonna do this. Let's see if it recognized the phone. Okay, I needed to trust the phone on the computer. I guess it's been that long since I hadn't connected it. Okay, so now let's go back to Ecamm. And now I'm looking for this, but I'm probably gonna have to add it. Oh, it's not picking it up. Let's see if I disconnect and reconnect. Okay. Boom. There we go. All right. So let's see. Can I bring this here? Boom. All right. But let's change this view. Not squircle, but tall. Bam. There we go. And we're able to see that right there on the screen. I'm going to embiggen this. Right. But just to show you. Oh, that's a sideways. I made it. No reason for me to have done that. All right, let's switch this up. I made it tall so that I can see the pictures, but no. Let's go wide. And now we're going to bring that size down. There we go. And let's adjust the corners. There we go. That looks better. Even though it's covering my face temporarily. Give you a bit of a view of what's going on here. That's me completely sanding down the hood of my car. That's me taking like an abrasive wheel because I was trying to do everything with a belt sander, but it was taking way too long. But this abrasive wheel really cut into the paint to knock that out. That's basically me putting a trash bag over my engine. But as you can see, basically disassembled there in pieces. I'm going to show you even before. Let me see. Because that's all with the bag on there. But that's a better view of how deep I've gotten into my car. It's like necessary work. But I've done everything as far as like, how could I say? I just did a tune-up on it. I changed the brakes. I went to slotted and drilled rotors. I went to ceramic brake pads. I've done I actually started thinking about it, and I found the video of the AC blower motor that had died on this car, and I had purchased it and done an entire like video for YouTube even before I had this channel. So it was like very, very interesting because I had it all done, and I've been using mostly my iPhone and the ZV-1F just because it's so easy to document it. As you can see, I'm just basically talking to the phone as I'm doing all the work. Oh, that's another thing that I was able to do. I was able to, as demonstrating here, change all the lights on the car from like standard bulbs to LED bulbs that, even though are a lot brighter, are also just more functional. But I also learned a lesson as well, which was all about hyperblinking, which is if you do not get LED bulbs that are controlled, or that have controllers in them, they'll start blinking way too fast because they don't have a natural resistance as a standard bulb does. So the resistance within the bulbs themselves, and those are the bulbs that I actually bought. Those are the ones that have the controller modules in so that they don't hyperblink. But I've done, you know, the tires. One of the other things that I was very happy with, which is I changed the lug studs. Oh, and this one, Gretchen might or actually not Gretchen, I'm sorry, Sly, if watching this was the boroscope. So this is video of me checking out the interior cylinders of, come on, screw forward, I'm just trying to fast forward there. That's the inside of my piston, and that's just basically showing some carbon deposits there. I'm looking to get the before pictures just so that I could actually do a carbon deposit cleaner and to see if it actually makes a difference after the fact, right? So this is my actual piston, and that was the inside of my engine. But just a bunch of different things, me tearing everything down. Basically what I've done in the last week, and it's just been general maintenance. Oh yeah, there's so many things, mostly done on the car. One of them which goes a long way, is this. Not that, this is me actually taking the cover off of, or the emblem off, but as you can see there, I actually put a Alcantara cover on my steering wheel. Probably one of the best modifications that I could have done to the vehicle, because it's a touch point. It is I don't know what that is, but as you can see, I'm doing a lot of things on the car, a lot of general maintenance. All right, I'm just gonna close it off, and that's basically what I've been doing for the last week, and just documenting it, because I haven't even thought about editing the stuff, but I do need to get it done. So it's just been a thing of just like record it and I'll deal with it afterwards, and I'll try to piece it all together. One thing that I found that's been pretty cool because of it is the fact that I've been able, well, actually something that I just done once and I want to continue to do, is kind of create teasers for the next video, right? So how I have all of this content already recorded because I've been doing the repairs to the car. It's completely different than the type of content creation that I'm doing with Mr. Camera Junkie and camera reviews, because I'm constantly thinking of a different angle and the way to put my twist on it. With the car content, I'm just doing it because it's like general maintenance and I'm recording it. But what I was going to emphasize on was that I was able to actually create a teaser in the last video. So I made a video, I put it out, right? And once the video was done for like that piece of content, I was able to put a teaser of what the next video was going to be, because I already had the content and I already knew which was going to be the next edit. So it's like in the next video, and kind of leave an open-ended, hey, you know what, maybe you want to subscribe to catch the next video. And because I have the content already like recorded, I'm going to try to continue to do that in all of my, you know, future videos, that once I finish that the video is complete, instead of just putting, you know, like the like and subscribe end screen, I'm going to put like in the next video and give them like a hook, so to speak, or a cliffhanger, right, of what to expect in the next video and also what's to come. So it's a different way of thinking about strategy, which is partly why I'm doing this as well, right? It's something that I have to do for the car, basically for my own benefit, but then at the same time, basically just document it as I go, and hopes that it leads to, you know, things that I'm not even aware of, right? Leads to things that are unforeseen, just like I did not foresee my, you know, amazing relationship with Ecamm when I started Mr. Camera Junkie. So there's, you know, basically endless possibilities, and I've always been a car guy, right? Puerto Rican. Actually, I heard this bit of information not too long ago, probably in the last week, which was that Puerto Rico, even though such a small island, has the most vehicles per like square foot of anywhere else in the world. And a lot of it has to do with a lot of like Japanese domestic imports and that type of, you know, cars that are brought to the island and have been a staple of racing and that entire like genre for forever, right? We would call it la fiebre, right? And la fiebre basically means you have a fever. You have a fever. Oh, you're sick, right? Well, in Puerto Rico, when you would say, oh, este tiene la fiebre, like he's got the fever, means he's got like the racing fever. And it was just known like, oh, él tiene la fiebre. Like you can't even talk about it, because now he's like, you know, modifying cars. Rotary engines is something that I grew up with. Those sounds, the braps, like everything that's just in my blood. So, you know, quarter mile racing, I have stories of seeing people racing side by side on the edge of mountains on roads in Puerto Rico that are the size of one lane of traffic here in Florida, which is like mind-boggling, right? But that's basically how I grew up, and for that fact and everything is still just something that's in my blood. I absolutely love wrenching on cars. That's another form of like therapy for me, like just taking things apart and give you guys another bit of information, this has also been a bit of a I'm probably gonna like rename the build instead of like a budget build or what I named it, the ish car build, right? This might be dubbed the Amazon build, because just like I was, in the past, I would get a lot of parts and things that I needed from eBay, right? And eBay became such a big thing, on the online market to find parts, that now you have eBay Motors, which you have complete auctions on vehicles, and complete vehicles are being sold on that website. And so many things that they have, like parts guarantee that it's a perfect fit and all this stuff. But Amazon doesn't have something to that extent. But because I'm an Amazon Prime user, I actually been buying all the parts for my car through Amazon Prime. And I'm going to give you another example. When the radiator blew, and I believe that was last year or the year before, and it needed to be replaced, I was already like willing, okay, let me replace my radiator, because I did not have the luxury at the time to be down like from my vehicle in case anything were to happen, or that I needed to move. Did not have the ability for the car to be like broke down or in a repair shop for weeks for a radiator. So I first started looking for it online, or basically calling the auto parts store. I called AutoZone. I called what's the other one? Advanced Auto, that are very close to me, and they were both telling me that the radiator was going to be like $260, and that the soonest that I can get it was like 2 weeks. That they had to order it to the shop and then have it delivered to them, and that we're looking like 7 to 14 days to get the radiator in. And I'm like, oh man, my car's gonna be down for like 2 weeks just waiting on the parts. Well, went to Amazon, found the part that I needed, the exact radiator for my car, paid only $78 for the radiator, and had it shipped to me within 3 to 4 days with Amazon Prime. So the time that it took for the part to actually ship to me, and not to the store location, but to me, to my house, I started disassembling my vehicle. And by the time the part got here, I installed it right away, and then just started reassembling the front on the vehicle, replaced the radiator, and went on my merry way. And it took roughly the totality of about 4 days. A day, 3 days to get the part, and on the 4th day, I already basically had it done. So I've been buying parts for this car, and everything that I have, I bought off Amazon. The rotors, brake pads, even the coilover suspension that I started to do this whole build with. So there's certain things that I know that more on the cosmetic side that I haven't been able to buy, but I know that I can get a better price, but I also know that I can buy the fender that I need. Because, that's a whole nother story. I don't even know if I told you guys, but somebody ran into my car while it was parked. So that's basically what Crumple decided to say, you know what, if I need to replace these parts anyway, let me go ahead and try to do this work myself, which is what led me into painting my hood. Because if I do a good enough job on the hood, then I'm going to go ahead and buy the fender online, which is kind of already prepped and primed, and then just apply my new skill of painting to it, throw it on there, and basically call it as it is, and we move forward to see what I do next. So just been having a lot of fun with it. But I've been ranting about this car and what I've been doing for the last week. Let me go ahead and check in the chat with you guys. All right. Oh, we have David in the house saying hello to me and to the chat. Sammy said, wow. He's saying very cool. I think he's talking about the photos that I was showing. Gretchen says, looking forward to my Phoenix grandkids and granddaughter son-in-law arriving in Christmas night. Oh, that's so nice. And they're going up to you. I bet you they're gonna see. I don't know. Are you experiencing snow in your area already, or is that something coming in like in January, so to speak? David also says very cool. David says that he's going to be working on music production in this new year. That's awesome. Good to hear. Sammy still says, wow. He has a question. Are you thinking of getting any new cameras in 2024? The new camera that I'm going to be getting, and mostly, is going to be the Vision Pro, because that's going to be a pretty hefty price tag. And then, you know, I was mentioning or talking to Gretchen about trying to get a discount with the Vision Pro, and that she lives in a tax-free state. So she was like, you know what, I'll buy it so that it'll be tax-free and then ship it to you. But Gretchen, bad news. It looks like I would have to, might be some calibration that I have to do in store. So might not be possible, that I might need to pick it up at a local store so that I can get that calibration done, especially like with Aiden and stuff. So, but fingers crossed, but that looks like it might not be a possibility. As far as cameras go, you know, I'm going to be honest with you. If I'm going to save up $6,000, right? Or if I'm going to like pull the trigger on a $6,000 camera, it's probably not going to be the Sony Alpha 1. Most likely it's not going to be. It'll probably be the Sony A9 Mark III. That thing's next level. And I mentioned it when I talked about it on the stream. The global shutter, that is like an FU to every other company out there. Like, it just is. It's just like, oh my God, to think that you can get the quality and a feature that is prominently held for cinema cameras. So this is why, like, a global shutter is why a red camera costs what a red camera costs, right? And getting into that entire eco system, right, where you're not only talking about the camera, but then the media storage, the footage itself and everything, like, but now you're bringing that into the hands of the solo creator, right? The hybrid camera owner. Amazing piece of machine. Now, 2024, there are rumors already for the Sony Alpha 2, right? So now if you have and this is, I'm not saying that this is what's actually going to happen, but hypothetically, if you have a 50 megapixel camera that also is now shooting like global shutter and has all the bells and whistles and is their top of the line, then I might be retracting this statement, right? And if it falls within that same price tag, but I really don't see myself pulling the trigger on anything unless it's something like that that's going to be completely game changing. And that's the way that I see it as far as cameras. And that this is all about what I always talk about, Sammy. You know, like when I always say upgrade your skills before your gear. I don't see what any other camera besides that is bringing different to what I already have. That there's really going to be no significant difference. Like, I might think that, oh, it looks better, but in all sincerity, I look at a lot of YouTube videos consistently, and my video quality is already top 1% of everyone on the platform. Just is. And it has to do obviously with how much content is on the platform, that it is very few that I fall into that category of like highest quality, best in you know, top 1%. But I do recognize that both video and audio. And even though I'm trying to upgrade my skills or try to upgrade my equipment just a little bit more, there are plenty of content creators on the platform that are not even worried about that and don't go anything more than an iPhone camera. So, for example, it's a good point that I wanted to bring emphasis on, which is when it comes to my photography channel, I'm talking to photographers and future photographers, right? Or videographers and future videographers. So I'm leading by example, right? And showing this is how good you can make it look, right? And even though this is not the highest, or the most expensive gear, a good skill set and proper equipment, you can make magic, right? And you can have just a couple of bits of hardware to take it to the next level and quickly fall into that 1%. But like I was just showing, when it comes to my car content, right, I've been using the Sony ZV-1F and my iPhone as the methods to record, because it is just documenting. It is just like record it, and that is good enough. And I recognize that the audience for the car content they're not there for a 4K camera. So if I were to bring 4K quality to my car content, it might even take away from it, because people might think that I'm like sponsored or doing something that is completely different than what it is that I'm actually doing with my car and my content. So it's all, I'm paying for everything myself. There's no actual sponsors, even though, hey, if sponsors are listening, I'm all ears. But that it actually leads more into that the iPhone quality ends up being more authentic in a lot of people's eyes, right? And it just feels more natural to them to hear or see the content being created in that method, comparative to being all fancied out with the highest quality like 8K cameras. Nobody in the car community, so to speak, really cares about 8K. If it's good enough where they can see the information and enjoy the content, that's basically it. And that's why I've been majorly using this device here, just because it's convenient while I'm doing the work, where I just pull it out of my pocket, record a quick snippet as I'm just talking about it, and that's it. And it's just like documenting it along the way, which is not the same when it comes to the camera content, because there's more like intricate details, more information, and have to like research it more and put a lot more energy into that type of content. I love doing them both, but they are drastically different. But I actually like doing them both, because it also gives me a broader perspective when I'm speaking to clients or potential clients in discovery calls, to see exactly what it is, the content that they're making, and what's the best way that I can help them out. I was just speaking to my neighbor the other day about starting a YouTube channel that he wants to do for his business, and he's thinking like, oh, I'm gonna need to get a camera and all this and all that. And I'm like, you have an iPhone. I'm like, in your industry, you don't have to floss, so to speak, with the latest and greatest camera. When people, if it feels too much like a commercial, they're just gonna scroll by. Does that make sense? And that's where it's kind of different. I guess that's the best way that I can put it, but that's kind of where it's different in the camera world, right? For the videographers and photographers, when they see a video and right away they're getting hit with like 4K, high quality, great sound, that they notice that right away, and they're like, oh, wow, okay, let's see more. And that's the type of audience that gets attracted with that. And that's what I love doing, so I have a lot of fun doing that as well. But then when it comes to that other car content or the other creator, like I was talking about my neighbor, if you end up looking too professional, too well done, then it might look like you're just trying to sell something. And I believe he's into like the real estate aspect, so I was like, if you end up looking too professional right off the bat, people are thinking that you're just trying to sell them a course, and they're just gonna pass by your video. You need to have a level of authenticity, whether it's in the way you create the content or just yourself, to be able to like push it, especially in his field. So there's a lot of different ways to attack it. Christian says, love the car content, thank you. Sammy says, what's your car channel? Well, it's pretty simple. Project Car Junkie. So just like a Mr. Camera Junkie and a junkie as far as the whole moniker of the family, I was looking for a name, and I was thinking before I thought of junkie, I was thinking like, I forgot what I was thinking, but I basically just attached the same thing, so not Mr. Project Car, but Project Car Junkie, and you'll be able to find it. Actually, you know what? Let me go ahead and bring this up and just give you a link to it. Okay, so this is the whole thing. Sammy, I'm putting it in chat right now. We just passed the hours, so. All right, let me see here. Rady K just says Tokyo Drift, baby. Maybe in the future, because for those of you who know the difference, Jeremy, I am a rear wheel drive type of guy. Currently, my car right now, I have it pretty much set up as battle stance. So, the offset of the wheels and the tires, I have nice little beefy, Johnnies on there. And I have it set up for kind of like everyday street use, but also kind of like track oriented. So a grip style setup, and it's a front wheel drive car. So nothing as far as drifting would be done in this vehicle. The plans that I have for it as far as drivetrain and engine is that, seeming that it's automatic, I was thinking, and it depends on which route I go, because there's nothing more fun than shifting gears, at least for me, even if it's a front wheel drive car. But this is basically the equivalent of a Honda CRX, but in the Toyota family. It's a 4-door little hot hatch, so to speak. Now the plans that I have for it, it's either I'm gonna go with the 6-speed, and it has to be 6, because if it's not the 6-speed manual transmission, I don't think I'm gonna go through the trouble of cutting the hole and doing the whole conversion from automatic to manual and adding the clutch pedal, right? Even though there's different options available, because I don't want to put my foot in my mouth. There's car auctions that are available, and there's a car right here in Miami that has the manual transmission, but that's neither here nor there. If I get a crazy cheap deal, meaning I might be buying an entire car for parts and an extra engine for under $300, and if that were to happen, fingers crossed, then I might have the parts for the manual swap. But I digress. That I'm still just thinking, if I don't do the manual for the 6-speed transmission, then I might do a sequential transmission, and doing the sequential transmission will give that transmission the ability to handle all the horsepower in the world, basically more than I can basically put into that vehicle. So it would be able to handle upwards up to 1,000 horsepower and put that power down onto the wheels. And because it's a sequential, I wouldn't really need the clutch pedal modification. And if at worst, I can put a paddle shift clutch and just have a kind of automatic / manual sequential transmission. If I go that route, it's either or. But then the engine that I want to put in it, which is the is the new Toyota 3-cylinder GR engine. I've just been absolutely fascinated with this new power package. 3 cylinders, 1.8. So they're big cylinders because it still has the 1.8 displacement, but it's turbocharged with this new Toyota volumetric thing. It's this weird way that the air rolls into the cylinder and kind of compresses itself like the way the turbine, so you can fit even more air to create even more compression, leading to 100 horsepower per cylinder. So 300 horsepower powerhouse in a 3-cylinder with air conditioning daily driver. That's like mind-boggling. So my plan is to get my hands on that and throw that in here, because in one way or another, I've done the research, it's all designed under the same chassis and frame, and it all fits. So it would be amazing to do that and give this little car an update and a lot more fun. It would more than double the original horsepower the car came with. So it came with 128 horsepower stock, and to have over 300 in the same little like 2,300 pound chassis is just, I already have fun with the car. It drives like a go-kart, right? And I absolutely love it. I'm only excited for like what I'm gonna be able to like mess around with it. I've done so many different things, and like I said, because I have these parts that need to be replaced in the front, I've had a blast cutting things out. I'm adding fog lights. I'm doing a whole bunch of like, like car junkie stuff as well. Scott made it. He's also in the house saying, enjoy the holidays, crew. Well, thank you for stopping by. K-Wall's in the house saying hello to all. Gretchen says, on the memories, drove a 57 Chevy to a drag race at the old Renegade Raceway near where I grew up. I was 16 and it was my boyfriend's car 51 years ago. That is so cool. K-Wall says, my Prius is at 103 miles and close to 10 years old, eyeing on the next one. That's really cool. And that's another thing, like, love Hondas, don't have anything, own some, but I'm a Toyota guy. I absolutely love Toyota. I love their cars. I owned a 85 Toyota Celica Supra, that's the dream, so to speak. My dream is to find my hands on that car and, through a series of project cars, restore and rebuild my 1985 Toyota Celica Supra P-Type with the fender flares, drop it, that car was just, and really baby that thing, you understand, bring it to top specs and have it. So Sammy says, what? Tax-free? We're talking about the Vision Pro. Yes, there's some states, Sammy, that are tax-free. No income tax. So when you go to purchase devices, they are the price that was listed from the manufacturer and nothing else. So here in Florida, we pay a 7% or 7.5 in some places, if you're in Miami, tax on everything. So that would be on top of it. So just doing the numbers, I'm looking more at like $3,700 to $3,800 on the Vision Pro, just because of the added amount of money for the tax. So if that could be alleviated, right, an extra $400 or $500, right, that could be saved then. But unfortunately, it looks like you would have to get it at the location. I'm really looking into it, because my ideal thing is to pick it up with Gretchen and then have her ship it to me. And once I have it, maybe I could just make my appointment after I have the equipment at the said location at my Aventura Apple store here, close to me. But I believe that they have to do measurements. Like, they're gonna have to do like one of these like fittings, so that they make sure that they get the right band and the right light seal for your eyes and your face shape. So let's see exactly how it ends up. Gretchen says, no snow in my neighborhood, but I can drive a couple of hours to get some. That's pretty cool. Sammy says, no way. It says, I've been really love with the FX30 so much. Yes, I saw that you made the comment for Peter last night that you've been having problems with those SD cards. Yeah, you have to make sure that they're the V60s or at least the V30s to make sure that you get a smooth 4K recording. So Sony FX30 has been one of the best investments I've made so far. I could imagine. That's a great machine. Great machine. Says yes, 100. Says yes, 100%, and it's not coming up. There it goes. All right. Says skills are more important than anything. Absolutely, yeah. Oh, he says, yes, I'm in the top 1% of video quality. Yeah, I've seen enough videos on the platform to know, right? And like, I see some people that are getting like thousands of subscribers, and I look at their video and I'm like, oh my God, just wipe your lens, please. That doesn't need to be 4K, but just wipe your lens. And it just looks like they took, what is it, chapstick, and put it all over their phone camera. And they're just like, it's just this grease. Oh, so bad, so bad. Anyway, but that's just me. That's like my pet peeve, right? Sammy says, I'm subscribed already and wasn't getting notifications. Oh, well, it goes to show you, I'm not sure exactly how YouTube, but I'm not too worried about it. Thank you for subscribing, Sammy. Jeremy says, I used to work in a show called Stance Wars. Some sick rides. Oh man, that's cool. Definitely. I'm a stance guy, but not to the point of, you know, the extreme. Like, I'm not, for those of you who understand, I'm not a stretchy tire type boy. Like, I don't like my tires to be all stretched out and look like, that's not my style. I've always been more into the racing scene, so it's either like drag setup for street or a grip setup for street. You know, I am a static boy, right? I'm not a stance boy. I'm a static boy, meaning there's no hydraulic lifts or bags on it, but I do have the car lowered and it is static at that, like, just perfect height. I'm not rubbing. I did have to roll my fenders, but that I did just to save my tires because they weren't rubbing on top, they were rubbing on the sidewall, which I was like, I was hearing rubbing, but I kept checking the tires and not finding anything. And then I found out that the lettering on the tire was getting shaved because the part that was actually hitting was the sidewall when it would come up, and it was only during like max load. Sammy says New Jersey has 6%, while 7% is crazy. 7.5, yeah, it's not the best, but hey. Oh, look at this. Oh, I had an 84 red Celica GTS. Love that car. Oh, right? Well, the Celica Supra that I'm talking about, the 85, it's basically that same model, 84 GTS, right? But the difference is that the GTS was the 4-cylinder, and it had these pop forward headlights, meaning the front literally was like shaved, and it had those two square headlights that would pop forward like this. They were always visible, but they were slicked back, and when they were activated, they would just like lean to be parallel, and then that would give you like your proper lighting situation for that car. Imagine that same car, but the front is completely different, and it has the front that looks very similar to the 3rd generation Supra, actually the Mark II Supra, which would be the 3rd generation, but that's a whole different history lesson. The Mark II Supra, right? That one basically has the same front, the 85 of that one, including has the longer extension engine bay, and it fits in the 2.5 7 GE 6-cylinder inline, so powerhouse. And the way that I had it was turbocharged and made a lot of power and had a lot of fun. Oh, Sammy says he's got the V90 cards. Yep, so you're good now. Marine X in the house. What's up, big dog? How are you doing, sir? It's been a long time. Merry Christmas. And what was the last one? Happy Thanksgiving. I haven't seen you around. And Kathy says Vision Pro sounds like it has to be fitted like glasses. Yeah, because there's people who are gonna need the prescriptions, and that's also gonna be like fitted there as well, because they're going to take your glasses and kind of reverse engineer. But there's different head shapes, and I guess like the brow size, or I believe it's the distance of your eyes, right? That is going to make the biggest difference in what they call the light shield. So the part that is going to sit here over your eyes is the thing that they want to make sure that is sealed and like coupled correctly, so no light is getting in, and I guess gives you the full immersion of the technology. And I think those are the two biggest pieces that they need to make sure is fitted correctly, which just leaves me, to wonder, because they also mentioned at the beginning when they first talked about it that even though it's going to be catered and fitted to you, and that the authentication of the entire system is going to be your eyes. So just the same way you have face detect on your iPhone, you'll be able to put on your Vision Pro, and it's going to recognize your retinas, know that it's you, and then give you access automatically, just like FaceTime would. But this leads that if somebody else were to try to take and utilize your Vision Pro, it won't activate because they're not authenticated, just like your iPhone, right? So that way it's kind of locked to you. But they also mentioned that they want to share the experience with other people, and that the people who are going to own it are going to want to share the experience of Vision Pro with their families. So there's a way to temporarily give people access to your Vision Pro and have it in kind of a guest mode temporarily, so that they can experience it without seeing any of your information or having access to it, just like any other computer. Which is what leads me to wonder, I'm like, if there's so much emphasis put on the head shape and the light seal and the everything for the experience, then how is it going to be so easily shared with somebody else if it's not catered to them the same way, right? So that's where I think we're going to be figuring it out, but I just can't wait, because regardless, this is going to be big. This is going to be a big thing in history. The biggest company in the world is coming out with a new type of technology that's not just VR. It is a new way of computing. And I'm just so excited because, I get tired, right? I don't know about you, but I get tired. And a lot of times I would like to continue to either be entertained or continue to work, but I would like to be in a horizontal position. This meaning I would like to lay down. And with the Vision Pro, I'll be able to recline my seat, and still be able to keep an eye on Aiden, which is important, but basically make my ceiling my entire workstation. And I'll be able to edit videos as I'm just right, without having the need for a mouse, because I can't tell you how many times I would be on the reclining and just watching YouTube videos, and I have to make sure that I have my mouse with me, and I'm over here trying to minimize and I guess pick the next video to just keep the scroll going, so to speak, whether it's that I'm learning or, like I said, just being entertained, watching some UFC competitions, anything of the sort. Excuse me. And to be able to do that in a reclined position, I'm limited to space in my environment here, but then to also be able to kind of submerge myself in an infinite amount of hypothetical space, right? Virtual space. It's very exciting and very attractive to me. It's almost like it's perfect for someone who lives the way that I do, where I'm trying to do my best as a minimalist and have very limited space. So very excited for the Vision Pro, but I can't wait to see exactly what are its positives and also what are its limitations, because at the end of the day, it's also it's the first version of this device, right? Version 2 and version 3 of it are going to be even that much better, and we see it even in something as simple as this thing right here, the Mac Studio. This is the first version. It still works amazing. I absolutely love it. I have no complaints. But we also now have the M3, and the M3 Studio is going to be even that much better, right? So I understand it, but in the same way, I'm making sure that I'm putting my investment, or basically saying I'm putting my money where my mouth is, because I want to see this. I want to see version 2. I want to see version 3 of the Vision Pro. The first iPhone itself wasn't even the big deal, right? The version, it's actually the third version, right? iPhone, the 3G, and the 3GS were the ones that really took off and made it everything. But it was the people, the few who actually invested in version the 2G, the first iPhone, that made it all happen. So everyone, we're well past the hour. As always, I want to thank you all for taking the time. David snuck in here, says checking with the Ecamm fam. How you doing? Sneaking in here last minute, but I am gonna call it for tonight. Thank you all, as always, for taking the time and hanging out here with me. I want to wish you all a very happy and Merry Christmas. Be safe out there, guys. My family actually celebrates on Christmas Eve, so tomorrow night I will be heading to my sister's house in celebration. Just kind of like New Year's, we do New Year's Eve, right? We also do Christmas Eve as far as our celebration, so I'm excited to do that. And yeah, this year I was actually able to get a lot of my shopping done. I made a mock Christmas tree of gifts in the back, and that's gonna be headed to my sister's house tomorrow. So as always, I want to thank you. This was the completion of episode 160. That's 160 consecutive weeks of the Camera Junkie live stream without skipping a beat. And I thank you all for making this the place where I want to be every single week. Take care of yourselves and each other. Have a happy holiday. Merry Christmas, everyone. And I can't wait to see all of your smiling faces as we do it all over again. Same time, same place next week. We're going to do it right here, 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for the New Year's Eve stream. I can't wait to see you all here. Talk to you.